Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay Suthar. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And oh my goodness, I am so excited for this episode. Why? Because I have one of my coaches on. Yes, she is freaking awesome. I've been working with her for so long. I had to have her on the show. Her name is Adryenn Ashley. She is a renowned figure in the blockchain and Web3 world, and is the founder and managing GP of Slay Ventures, an emerging venture firm investing in blockchain-based startup driving mainstream consumer adoption. She also hosts globally a broadcast television talk show called Minting the Future. She is an award-winning and best-selling author with her upcoming book of the same title, focusing on the potential pitfalls and perils of NFTs to build communities and drive mainstream adoption of blockchain technology, Web3, and the metaverse. Oh my goodness, Adryenn, thank you for coming onto the show. I'm super excited.
I am super excited to be here. Oh my God, this is going to be perfect because everything that you have been basically learning for the last year, we are going to just encapsulate it in 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, yes. And I knew you're the perfect person for this. And people need to learn about, the Web3, the metaverse, right? This is the reason why I knew I had to work with you, because you are the master. You are the guru. You've been doing this for so many years that most of them haven't even heard of it, right?
Well, and that's true. I mean, I built the testing harnesses. I did quality assurance and penetration studies and broke into banks for a living, but I built the testing harnesses for an artificial intelligence, natural language processing chatbot in banking in 2000. So you can do the math. That's 23 years ago. And I got into blockchain in 2009 accidentally. Really didn't know what I had, what I did, lost the Bitcoin, the whole bit. You can cry for me later. Got into it full time in 2012. So this is a really long time.
Yeah. I mean, okay, the first question I got to ask you, right, is how did this all happen? How did it come about? Because it didn't happen in the click of a finger, right? You went through a journey and you've gone through ups and downs. So how did this all come about for you?
Well, I grew up, I was lucky. I grew up in Marin County, California. So that's the green side of the Golden Gate Bridge. And that is where a lot of the tech pioneers actually lived. They worked in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, but they lived in Marin. So we got a lot of things early, right? Like we had one of the first public emails at the well. I had one of those in the 80s. I did my 5th grade birthday party at a computer lab. Like I've been a nerd forever. We had computers in high school when I was 12. I'm 55 in October, just, a hot minute. So a really long time. So I've been programming since I was 12. So, what is that? 43 years. It's a really long time. And I've always gotten to see everything really, really early. Now that is a pitfall. I have always been early. I had a naughty dating app for good girls that gets women laid by putting consent on the blockchain. And I was talking about digital ID. I was talking about digital ID in 2008. And I was talking about blockchain-based digital ID in 2015. So a really long time. And everybody's just like, no. Well, now everybody's all about digital ID. So literally, if I'm talking about something, like it's going to be mainstream and everybody's going to want it and do it a decade from now. So the things that I'm telling you guys to do, you want to be early adopters, this is what you need to do. And this is why I love Kay, because this is what she's doing. She's like, I'm early.
Definitely, because especially with how things have changed since the pandemic, right? Like tech, podcasting has just evolved so much in such a short amount of time. Like it's inevitable that it's just going to keep growing that way. And so if you don't jump on the bandwagon now, you're going to get left behind like most people did during the pandemic, right? So you got to learn this stuff. You got to learn it for sure. So
when I recorded my first podcast?
When?
2000.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what? It's so funny because even the guests before before this show, right? Before this one, like had a podcast for 13 years. And I'm like, how did that even come about? Because people didn't even hear about it then. They didn't even know what a podcast was, right? So how did you hear what a podcast was and that you had to do it?
Well, okay. I didn't know really what it was, but I had been doing entertainment. I'm an award-winning film producer. And, I bought my first domain in 1998. Actually, I don't even know if I think that was my first one. Adryenn.com was my first one, 1998. So very, very long time ago. At one point, I had like 2,000 domain names. I'm a digital hoarder, definitely, for sure.
In
And
1998, I was 14 years old.
and you didn't have your domain name?
No, didn't even know what that was. I was like still trying to find out what Explorer did.
Okay. Well, so when I was 24 years old, I worked for Ron Gordon, who was the co-founder of Atari, and we were building, or he was building, the first brainwave controlled video game controller. So I was working with the top scientists in Novosibirsk. The curtain had just fallen. He'd hired this team of amazingly brilliant scientists, computer scientists, and we built a game where you put the little electrodes on your head and then you flew around and did the Olympic slalom course and all that. So I would, this is back in CompuServe time, dial up. So I would download all the packets and then compile everything on our side, install the software, test it, write up the bug reports, and then send it back to the scientists. So I've been doing this for a really, really long time. So obviously, and then I wrote HTML for a law library on CDs before the internet was born.
Wow.
And, the first recorded, I always tell everybody everything you do online is there forever. And they don't believe me. And I'm like, no, really, you can literally find a quote from me from 1988. It's literally there forever, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that everything that you put out is like really high quality and you own your words and actions. So that's a really big piece of when you're doing these podcasts, you got to make sure. Some people do podcasts and they're going for the clickbait. And I'm like, don't do that. Right. Like you don't know the things that you say, especially people who are, more in the coaching arena. You have no idea the power of what you say. And you could say something today and it could go on your podcast and it could literally live forever. And then 15 years from now, this one person hears it, they get that aha moment and they go off and they save the world or change the world. Like you don't know the power and the impact of your voice and how long it can live and what you can do with it. And that's why I'm so excited about Web3, right? You're talking about ownership, digital assets, decentralization. So, you don't have to give someone the right to silence you. That's my most exciting part here.
So, okay, now you mentioned Web3, right? Now, I know for the sake of our listeners, can you explain what is Web3?
Yes. So, Web 1, the first website I ever published in 1998, HTML flat digital brochure. So think of it like instead of going to a doctor's office and picking up a brochure about Botox, you could literally just go to the Botox website and read everything that was in the brochure. Not interactive at all. Web 2, more interactivity, user-generated content. So blogging, social networking, right? More interactive things going on where you can produce your own easily. You can interact with brands. That's that kind of thing, but very centralized with Facebook and Google and other large entities deciding who gets seen and who doesn't. Web 3, decentralized, unfuckwithable, permanent. So you can actually create something that is then archived or put on the blockchain, never to be deleted. And you can create token gated access to that content. And if someone has token gated access and they decide they don't want it anymore and they turn around and sell it, you can embed and permanently require royalties for that transaction. So you are getting more, like they keep changing all of the incentives, the influencer rewards and things like that. And you're literally left with scraps, right? And now with Web3, you have the ability to create and monetize and control. which is kind of awesome.
It is. It is definitely awesome. And I'm super, super excited for this as well. Like, it's just going to change the whole way that podcast works, the way people do business and how they engage with their communities, because it just takes it to another level. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
know this already. You know, you've been doing this for so long. You know this. You're teaching all of us how to do this. But why is it so important for business owners to learn about this right now and implement it? Because there's hardly anyone that's doing it. They don't even understand it.
So this is a key thing, and I want everybody to kind of just noodle on this one. So at the moment, if you are a regular business owner, and let's just stick with services and podcasters, just because it's easier going into brick and mortar. Then we're talking about augmented reality and beacons and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's a whole nother podcast. Let's just stick with like virtual businesses,
Yes.
right? You can do it. You can do it anywhere. Um, you probably have a website.
Mhm.
If you are an old school internet marketer, you're probably using either uh, um, Confusionsoft, now called Keep, or other platform where your content is actually on a different platform. And when you do set up your community that way, they're actually going to a different URL and a different IP address. And you're probably generating your leads and everything else off of social media and building up a big community in a Facebook group, things like that. These are the Web 2 ways of doing things. However, if we've learned nothing from the pandemic, it is that you can be silenced at a moment's notice. You can actually have all of your content removed, your account removed, or you can just be shadow banned and nobody can hear you. So the only way, and this is very old school, this is literally the very earliest internet rules ever. You must have their email address. They must be on your list. Build your list. One of my influencers had 350,000 fans. He's a hip hop star on Instagram, grew it totally organically, all by himself. And they decided they didn't like him. They didn't like what he was saying, and they deleted his account.
Oh my
He lost
goodness.
all 350,000 people because he did not own his audience. Web3 allows you to own your audience. And one of the ways you're going to do that is through token gated access, and your actual really good content, your actual fans will live on your website, your domain name, and you want to build your community there, not on a Facebook group. Here's why. When they stay on your website, when they click on multiple pages, you are increasing your own page rank. You are giving yourself that Google love. When you send people off to Discord or you send them to a Facebook group, you are not getting that Google love. Facebook and Discord are. So if you go to make your mark, you are going to actually find a community access pass. That is a Web3 NFT that is to get into Kay's token gated community. What are you going to get in that token gated community? Well, to start with, maybe we're going to take a little field trip to Spatial. If you want to start easily, that's a pretty easy one to do because you can embed that Spatial link and portal into your website. They use your token that you gave them for free. You want to build your community for free. That's totally fine. You can do that. But then that will lock. I can't get into the party without it. So it's like a speakeasy and a password, right?
Wow, yes.
But you can do that, and you can give your audience and your community the ability to start meeting each other. That's a big piece that I don't think a lot of business owners do.
Right.
They do a one to many. Well, your community probably would like to know each other. There's probably ballers in your community that are ridiculously awesome, and they want to know the other people who are in that community. And the more value you create from the community, the more valuable that NFT to get in is, which is why Bored Apes were so expensive. Because if
Right.
you had one, you got into the private Discord channel where they were doing deals. So my friend paid, I don't know, $250,000 for a Bored Ape, probably made 2 million within 6 months. Why? Because of the content and the discussions and the people in the room. So think about that.
Do you know
That's
what? I love this. I get it, but I know for my audience, we need to take it a couple of steps back because you talk about token gated.
okay.
Let's break that down. What does token gated mean, and how does NFTs fit into that?
Okay. So I'm hoping that your audience understands like like wish list and membership programs. I'm pretty sure they do.
Mhm.
So when you have a membership program that is tied to a credit card, they either purchase a lifetime access or a monthly access, and their subscription is updated, right? But that is very centralized. That is coming from you giving them access, right? NFTs are blockchain based tokens, right? Usually an NFT has some kind of visual picture, something, a ticket, something like that. And it's held in a Web3 wallet, either MetaMask or, if you can, if it's a really good NFT, Coinbase or crypto.com, you can't just hold anything there. It has to be actually legit and approved. But MetaMask is usually the one where everybody holds it. And they have the access because they own the asset. That NFT is an asset. Now, you can block that asset if they turn out to be, a naughty person. You can block that particular token, but basically it's the same as a membership, except that they have that asset means they can sell it on the secondary market and you can build in royalties, which means if they want to transfer it, it's like a transfer fee. You want to sell your $50,000 mastermind membership? Okay, but I get 10%.
Absolutely. So it's another way, it's another revenue stream, but at the
Yes.
same time, you're building your own community that you own, and you can really engage them at a completely different level that no other platform allows you to do.
Right. And
Right.
and you'd be early. And then part of that early is engendering this trust relationship with your community even deeper because you're going to onboard them into Web3. You're going to slowly walk them through how do you get a wallet? How do you keep it safe? How do you get an avatar? How do you walk through the metaverse, right? And in the metaverse, you can literally throw parties and anything is possible. You can look at the club behind me. I could literally throw a party here if I wanted to.
Yeah, and we've done that. We've practiced that. We've had events where you've been like in a wood fire right outside.
We
Gone
went
into,
camping.
yeah, right. We
We
went
made
into the lake.
s'mores. We kept jumping in the lake. I was like, there needs to be a button for skinny dipping because that would be hilarious.
Right, but you can do everything virtually, right? You can have art galleries, events, right? Expos. And
Oh
again,
yeah.
we've explored that as well, but at a whole different level altogether, right?
Oh, you know what? We should do that. Actually, we should use the metaverse platform and do a Make Your Mark event for all of the podcasters to teach them how to up level to actual television, not just rebroadcast your Zoom link onto OTT over the top, like
Ooh.
right?
That sounds
So
good. Oh my goodness, guys, if you're interested in this, like put comments down right now. Like put the comments inside. Let us know if you're interested in doing this. If we get enough interest, then me and Adryenn will work together and we'll put this together for you guys so it'll help you understand a little bit more as to what this other world is, what Web3 is, and how to incorporate it and why it's so important as a business owner for you to get going on this right now. Oh my goodness, that was awesome, Adryenn. Like that was such a great idea.
it is a great idea because this is one of the things that we're doing is we're with Crowded TV, which is my old startup that I'm rebooting into Web3. Is the whole idea is you have all these people and podcasting really did take off during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, and and actually the entry point is actually the bar is lower now because you had all of these famous people broadcasting from home and people didn't care. It was
Yeah.
about the content, right? Now there is still, you can't just your background has to be good. You can't just, broadcast anything. You can't leave it like just a straight Zoom screen. You've got to add the sexy elements to make it television, lower thirds, actually design the rundown, like what is that 60-minute content? Where your commercial breaks, like plan it better. But really the technology piece of it is not a heavy lift. And
Mm.
so if you add that and then drive that extra audience back to your website through a token gate with an NFT, then oh my God. And we had about it because I've told you a million times, but proof of attendance protocol. When people watch your shows, you can embed QR codes that they can literally scan while they're watching that drops them in to their wallet, an extra bonus NFT, right? And
Right.
then you can gamify that, collect the whole set, do this, and you can literally have extra things in that gamification, like send people and refer people to sign up and get, through an affiliate program. And then you can give them rewards points. You can actually, in your own platform, have your own creator coin, but do it correctly. Don't violate the law. None of us look good in orange. I know some people think they do, they don't. Nobody looks good in orange. So you really want to follow the law. And the best way to do that is to literally make it a rewards token like loyalty points. As long as you're doing it that way, you should be okay. This is not legal advice. This is not financial advice, but it really is. It's not a heavy lift at all to really start getting your community super engaged.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite things is the whole gamification that comes into play, right? It literally is like a computer game, right?
Right.
That's the way I look at it, right? It's a computer game. And like you do have like different tasks and different missions, right? In a computer game, this is what you can do here. This is how you can really engage with your community. And I cannot wait to get going on this. I'm so looking forward to it because it's going to be fun. So much fun for everybody.
Oh yeah. We should have the pre-party for the event, for the metaverse event. We should do like pre-parties. So people can come and the first couple of them they'll just be open. Everybody can come and meet and we'll do a little presentation about, what we're going to create and do focus groups. Like what do they need to learn? What do they want to learn? What are they interested in? So then we can make the metaverse event even better.
Oh my God, guys, we're literally brainstorming this idea right now on this episode, right? You're getting the back scenes of what's gonna happen, what's coming up right now. This is gonna be awesome. And again, guys, if you're interested in any of this, please, write in the comments, reach out to me, email me if you're listening to this on a podcast. If you're listening on YouTube and watching it, then write it in the comments. But just let us know if this is what you're interested in. If you want to know more, reach out to me for sure.
And make sure you go to Kay's website and you get that access pass or you're not going to get in.
That's right. So if you go to makeyouragency.com, you'll be able to join this community in the Web3, right? And really see how it all works and what happens. And really get a kind of idea of what's going on here, how this is different, why you really should be jumping in as a business owner. But oh my goodness, it's going to be absolutely awesome. Now, Adryenn, why is it so important that people get ahead of the game right now and not wait until a lot more people understand how it all works and other people are doing it? Because I guess it's the whole fear aspect. Like it's so new, you don't know what to do, it's all tech. Right? It just sounds really complicated for people.
It's not that complicated. And the key piece, right? Everybody's talking about AI. Everybody's talking about, they're really talking about AI. Web3 is blockchain, augmented reality, virtual reality, AI, machine learning. That's Web3, right? All of those things. So AI is, now the most popular girl in school. blockchain sitting down going, I prepped everybody for the last 20 years, babe. Right? So AI just, seemed easier. Jump on ChatGPT, write in a few things and be blown away. Now, keep in mind, this is, not new tech. It's new to mainstream. So just imagine how many people just jumped on and went, oh my God, right?
Right.
And those of us who've been doing it are like, I've had an open AI account since they opened. And when was that? Like 4 or 5 years ago? Like a really long time.
Yeah.
So it's, you want to be that brand that everybody goes, right? And they tell all of their friends because then you get all of that massive traffic. Now, fastest user adoption in the history of ever. What was it? Got to 1 million people in 36 hours or 13 hours, 36 hours, something like that. It was insane. Right. So you want to have that viralness, right? Which is why we're talking about, how do you set up your show? It's one thing if you have a show where, you're on Zoom and you're talking to people and the content is fabulous and people watch and they get great learning every time. And, and you do it right because you work with Kay. So you got show notes and you got little snippets and you got social sharing and you got all those other things. Right. And if you can't do it yourself, that's why you bring in Kay. And so these are the things like in Web3, it's kind of the same thing. You can easily up level You don't have to know how to do video editing. You don't have, but I mean, seriously, I'm putting together Canva templates for one of my clients so that they can literally do their entire video in Canva.
Wow.
I was like, can we please do iMovie? You could do all your branding in Canva because Canva, you can literally download things as
Mhm.
GIFs. Your whole lower thirds can be GIFs, and then you just overlay them in iMovie, and then boom. And that's pretty freaking simple. If you do not know how to do this technology, I am sure wherever you live, within a 1 block radius, you have access to a teenager, and they can literally do it on their phone.
Right. Right. And you've actually shown us this. You can
I have.
literally do it all on your phone. Like it's crazy. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I think one of the main things people will kind of get stuck on is the whole tech, right? But so you and I work together, Adryenn, right? I'm not the most tech savvy person at all, right? In fact, I'm probably the only Indian on the planet that has no tech skills, right? Like it's that bad. But if I can do it, right,
Yes.
and learn how to do it the right way, right,
Right.
anyone can do it, right? So it's not necessarily the fact that it's a tech issue, but once you know how it's done, things just become easier with anything that you do, anything that you learn, right? And so it's just really, really exciting because it's so new and it helps you keep ahead of the game, right? Because when it finally does go out there, you'll be like, oh, I've been doing it for so many years. This is easy. It's simple,
Yeah.
right? Just like yourself.
So let me just drop a little what if on your audience here. Okay.
Okay.
So say you're a business and you would benefit from consumer adoption of whatever it is that you're selling, right?
Mhm.
Consumers. This works perfect for consumers. And this is what we're doing with Minting the Future. It's a
Mhm.
television show, but it's a real television show. I'm an award-winning film producer, nationally broadcast television producer. We're launching this. We're doing it hybrid. So it's on broadcast television, ABC, NBC, CBS in the US, but it's also on OTT. OTT is your friend over the top. Why? If your audience are anywhere under 50, like 60% of them have cord cut, don't have cable, don't want cable. They do everything on OTT. So this is the benefit for you. Okay. Now, the other thing about OTT is you can do dynamic ad insertion, and that is freaking awesome. Why? Because just like your podcast, where you can do dynamic ad insertion, you can have sponsored pieces where they get to own that and they can change up their ad whenever they want. That is a much bigger ticket than simply a single ad that then 10 years later is the same ad. Building it in to be there forever is one thing, but that ad is going to get stale. By having dynamic ads that can be evergreen, that increases your price tag. Number two, every time you have a new event, you can own one of those ad spots too and drive everyone to wherever you want to drive them to. You can do that on television. You can do that on your podcast, right? You can literally make a television show that is, say you do a podcast 2-3 times a week, that is literally a 30-minute television show that has little clips of each one of your podcasts where you give them a sample that's super awesome and then drive them to the podcast for that interview, which will get you more listens, which will also increase your subscription rates and your ad rates. So there's so many things that you can do with content you're already producing, right? Like if you have a video podcast, you can rip it to audio, do the same thing, dynamic ad insertion. You can have those as two separate purchase prices, one for the video, one for the audio. Now you've
Right.
just doubled your advertising availability with no extra work, right?
Right. Absolutely. So there's so many ways that you can really monetize this, right? And
Yes.
really grow it, take it to the whole nother level and really kind of stand out from your peers, from your industry, because
Right.
no one's really doing it right now. Right? Or no
Nobody.
one that we know in our community that's doing it. They've not heard of it. And I think the biggest thing is because it's a fear of the unknown. They don't
Right.
know, they don't get it. Right?
But
And so,
but here's the best part.
yeah.
If you do it right, it's like going from a CD to a DVD.
Yeah.
They understand the form factor. This just does more.
Yes. That's right. And that's how you're really going to be standing out and making your mark to the
Yes, yes,
world. Right? Is by being different, being creative and taking it to that next level.
yes. And now imagine you've built this community and you have a thriving community and you want to, increase your thought leadership capabilities and your
Mhm.
influence. So you decide you're going to write a book, which I made Kay do. And
3 books, in fact.
I did. She's just so brilliant. I needed her to have what I call the golden ticket to the media. It's one thing to make a podcast,
Mhm.
right? That's almost like self-publishing, right?
Yeah.
The media, though, you need to have a quote unquote publisher. So we have a nifty little fun way of working with phenomenal people, right? It's not for
Mhm.
everybody. You
Nope.
have to be super, super badass. But we will give you an ISBN and a side spine logo, and you are not self published. You will pay for all your stuff. You will keep all of your money. I do not want the accounting nightmare. This is just me saying, I own you. You're fabulous. Then that's your golden ticket to the media. Okay. That golden ticket to the media allows you to share your voice more using the
Mhm.
book, right?
Yeah.
And then the book could literally be lessons learned uh, from all of the people that you've interviewed podcasting about
Yeah.
a particular industry, about a particular topic. These are writing a book, especially with AI nowadays, it's not that hard. You can
Right.
literally program the AI to make sure that you follow the Chicago Manual of Style, that it organizes your thoughts in a certain way. And to write the book, I always say, come up with, I want every single chapter to be a media pitch. That should be a television appearance. If you
Yeah.
think about it that way and you think about all the things that you could talk about, but all the things that you could talk about that are actually interesting to an audience that you could formulate into a pitch, and then you make that your book. Hallelujah.
Adrian, do you know what? I love the way your brain works, right? Like, I've not met anyone that thinks like you do. Like, you can incorporate so many different things in one project and monetize it in so many different ways. Like, it's crazy. We created a book like in a weekend. Like, you taught us how to do it in a weekend. Right.
Yeah.
On top of that, we still had time to learn about how to now use PR around it, right? And how to reach out to PR companies. And it was just crazy insane what we learned in just a weekend. And this is all in your head. This is all up there. You know all this stuff, right?
Well, I've been doing all this stuff. I mean, I'm an award-winning best-selling author, and my book came out in 2008. But I made my first feature film in 1998. And we went around the world for 2 years winning awards. So I've been doing PR like hardcore for probably about 25 plus years.
Right, because you understand that it's not just about producing that content, you got to then market it, right? And
Right.
you got to stand out and be unique and get yourself out there. What ways can you do that? And you have the answers, all the answers.
All the answers. Well, okay, so here's the sneaky little piece that if you are trying to do marketing and you're not getting any traction, or you're trying to do media pitches and you're not getting any traction, here's the secret formula. It is not about you. It is about what is the audience going to go, aha? What is going to be the pivotal thing that you tell them, that tip or that aha moment that is literally going to change their life, answer their question, make them feel better about themselves or make them feel inspired that they now have an opportunity because you've given them an insight into themselves, right? When
Right.
you're pitching the media, my favorite formula, and this worked like gangbusters, and you can sign up for something like Harrow and Quoted and a whole bunch of other different places. It used to be back 25 years ago when I was doing it, the media was in lockdown. And if you didn't have a ProfNet account that was like $2,500 a year or more, then you were not getting direct access to the media. It is now definitely a lot more open.
Yes.
So they would do a query. I am looking for XYZ, right? So here's the key piece. And you want to do this with an HTML template. You can sexy up your Google, whatever, but I used high impact email way back when. I don't think it works the same way now, but the whole idea was to have a very formula driven HTML template. So in the top corner. I'm trying to make it so that it's the right. Anyway, hold on. Upper left corner is the picture of your book, right?
Mhm.
Sidebar right column is a picture of you smiling, looking toward the reader. And then your contact information, everything they need, your website, your socials, your everything's over there. The
Right.
bottom is your signature bar. That is your name and your qualifications. This way, you are not putting any of that in your email. So your email is the subject is whatever their query subject was, so that they know that that's pitch, colon, whatever the subject is. Your email will be 2 to 3, maybe 4 sentences. That's it. So as a blank blank expert, comma, I think, boom, you give them a quote they can steal and put directly into an article immediately or into a newscast, whatever. You answer their question exactly what they were looking for, right?
Right.
And the next sentence is something funny. They laugh. They look at your picture. It's looking at them. This was how I did it. I did it on accident. I'm just sharing what the
Wow.
results of this accident that got me 300 media placements in 1 year.
Oh my goodness.
It was the last picture in the photo shoot. The photographer has work hanging in the Smithsonian. He's shot every supermodel for every cover of every magazine on earth. And he's an old boyfriend. So he's shooting my stuff. It looks great. So the last shot, he tells me a dirty joke. I laughed.
Right.
I mean, joy effervescing out of my eyeballs, right? Your smile has to go all the way up to your eyes, right? So I would say something funny in the email. There's this picture of me looking at them. I'm laughing. They're laughing. We just shared a moment and I wasn't even there. Always.
Right.
Right?
Wow.
And then the last little call to action is I have an expansive network that I am happy to share with you. If you ever need a contact or a resource, please feel free. It's yours. That's it.
Awesome.
They will love you. That file that under the section. I used to do this whole course called Impress the Press. This was the Make the Media Love You section.
Yeah.
It's like how to be so easy they can't say no. You're perfect, you're easy, you make their life easy, you make their audience happy. You want to, every time you're on media, you want to amplify it. When they see that those clips of you are getting amplified and spreading the voice about the show or the magazine or whatever, you're going to be asked back.
That is amazing. And you know what? It was so simple, but the impact that it gives people and that it got, like,
Right.
you experienced it. Like, that is freaking awesome. Right? It's so simple. You don't have to have a big essay, right? Talk about yourself. It literally, the picture just spoke for itself.
Right. And the other thing is, you have to understand how many pitches they get. And if like I also do media, right? So I would put out a query and I'm like, do not send attachments. Send me a link to the product photo, right? And a link to the website. And a $25,000 a month PR agency sent me, this is back in like the 90s, a 25 megabyte reply attachment and easily cut and paste, not even properly formatted
Oh, wow.
pages with embedded photos.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, you're on my blacklist. So to make the media love you, you have to make their job easy. So when you're pitching shows, this is why I say every chapter in your book needs to be its own media pitch. Why? Because you're going to create media pitches around every single one of those chapters so that when you send it to them, not only do you send them the pitch and you send it in a pretty format where it not only gives them a quickie little pitch, they know here's your bio, here's this, here's all the resources, here's the media, here's their media page so that they can just go grab whatever they need without bothering you. Like, don't make them ask. No more email back and forth, click to link to schedule, like book me on the show, just use this, put it in my calendar, I'll be there, hair makeup. And then you write, here's the five tips. Boom. They don't have to do any of the work. You just made their life easy. You took a 3-hour task and you turned it into 4 minutes, oh man, they're going to love you.
Amazing. I love that. That is super cool. Super cool. Now, I know at this point, Adryenn, people are thinking, she just keeps dropping bombs, right? Like,
Well, this was the weekend. Like, Kay's used to me now, but this is how it goes.
yeah, like one thing after another, right? And you're gonna be really quick writing down these notes, or just do what Adrienne's taught us, and we just have an AI recording it all, right?
And transcribing it and taking notes, key points, and this and that. And I wish I could actually train my otter to say something like, if I say rutabaga, it goes back and that was a key point and makes that a highlight. It doesn't do that yet. I've suggested it. That, or can I have a keystroke in the Zoom meeting where it does a highlight?
Right. Oh my goodness. You're thinking ahead of what technology can do right now, right? And giving feedback to it. It's freaking amazing. Now, Adryenn, if people want to connect with you, if they want to understand more about Web3, if they want to learn about media and PR, right? Even your TV show, there's so much that you know and that you do, right? Like your experience, your knowledge is so up there, right? How can they go to connect with you?
So I am at Adryenn, Adryenn, on pretty much every platform. And wowisme.net is my website. The Minting the Future website is in process of being upgraded to a full-blown Web3 community that's badass. I'm very excited about that. So there's just the regular WordPress site up there right now. My venture capital firm is slayventures.io. But really, if you want to reach me, I'm not even kidding you. DM me on Twitter or just publicly tweet me. I respond to everybody, but super easy. Or you get with Kay.
Right. And I'm happy to do an introduction for sure.
Yeah, and Kay has a little super secret calendar link, so she can make it happen faster for you.
Awesome. I love it. Now, Adryenn, if you had very last words to tell our audience today about Web3, about podcasting, what would that one thing be?
The one thing is it's here. It's staying. It's not going away. And you can either be left behind to play catch up later, or you can get in now so that by the time everybody else is playing catch up, you're already an icon. Once you know how it really isn't as hard as you think, it looks scary, it's not. But once you become one of the OGs, one of the early adopters, one of the early pioneers building out these communities in such a way that the community members, all of a sudden they have aha moments because they go, wait, I own these digital assets. Oh, wait, I actually get rewarded. Oh, wait. Oh, then they literally start spreading the word for you. And once you see the monetization potential for Web3, I think it'll convince you. Commas usually tend to have an impact on people's.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, Adryenn, as usual, dropping so many bombs all the time, constantly. I don't know how you do it, but you do. You're amazing. Thank you for coming to the show and educating our audience.
I'm happy to. I absolutely adore you. And I cannot wait. We are going to, we should we're going to do this. Make sure this ends up in the final cut.
Okay.
Those of you who want to take action and come play, you can literally download a community access pass. And 48 hours after this episode goes live, you can come to a party in the metaverse. Cost you nothing. You just get to come and play. Pick a cute outfit. We judge.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Thanks again, Adryenn. Awesome. Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much. And I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.